60% of social media users say they are connected all the time. When it comes to social media platforms, Facebook leads the pack with an average of 58 minutes spent per day. Instagram comes a close second with 53 minutes spent per day, and YouTube with 40 minutes spent per day. Imagine how much time you could use spending one or two languages. Here are 5 points to get you started on studying a new language, or for those who have already begun their studying who want to get back on track. Number 1. What is your end goal? Number 2. How will you track your progress? Number 3. What is your mindset, your attitude, and your motivation for learning a language? And 4. How do you study two languages at the same time? And number 5. How do you distinguish the two from one another? What is your end goal? Try to brainstorm some end goals. One could be being conversationally fluent, or another could be using your language at work, or another could be understanding the reading and the writing, or understanding people in general, or like when you listen to BTS and you want to know what they say. Those are possible end goals, but make sure that it's something reasonable and that you can foresee yourself achieving. And make sure it's practical. Like you obviously don't want to be, if you're not a medical student, you don't want to be fluent in all the medical terms. You don't even need to use those words. So as an example, choose something that's kind of in your domain of study. It will make it much more fun and much more easier and simple. However, there may be other goals that you also want to be part of your end goal. So you could mix two end goals and kind of put them together. You also want to come up with small goals along the way. As you track your progress, you want to be able to have short-term goals that will encourage you to go on more and more. You want to record your progress because it will help you keep track of what you're doing, and in case you want to learn another language in the future, you'll have something to look at, something that can be your guide. So record your time spending on reading and listening to music and podcasts and watching movies, TV shows, interviews in those languages you want to learn. It's always good to have a lot of exposure and immersion into that language. So make sure you get a lot of input into you, and the output requires a little more active involvement in your learning skills. And overall, record the time that you spend each day learning the language. And write down your small goals. Some goals could be learning 20 new vocabulary words a day with flashcards, or watching 30 minutes to an hour a day of subtitled content. Or you can think of some long-term goals that will take a little more time, such as like watching things without subtitles, or with the subtitles of that target language, or saying a tongue twister, or even read a book. Now here's where things get important to each individual. Mindset, motivation, and attitude all go hand in hand. Motivation and attitude are the driving force that initiate language learning and the often tedious work of learning languages. And oftentimes people who already speak a second language have a head start on their attitude and mindset. But that doesn't mean that those who only know one language can't learn the second one. The mindset that you should have is to expose yourself to the society and culture as much as possible in order to find the right attitude and motivation to press on learning. This day and age, we have social media, and you can dive into culture online, or you can travel and visit the country of your target language. Throughout your language process, you want to be able to have the right mindset. Attitude can change frequently depending on your mood. For example, I was told by a person that I would burn out learning languages at the same time, especially learning Korean and Mandarin at the same time. And while I understand much of that mindset of overwhelming yourself, which results in burnout, which is totally true, by the way, but the point is to make your language learning less work than it has to be. There's still an effort, but less work. I also disagree that learning similar languages will only get you confused or result in burnout, because, first of all, for my sake, much of vocabulary in Korean is similar to Mandarin, except grammar, of course. Even languages I already know, like Dutch and German, are similar, and Dutch was very beneficial for me to learn German. It gave me a really great head start in understanding things. But in this case, Korean and Mandarin are both new languages of mine. I apply all of these previous steps to learning Mandarin and Korean. So there are a few different goals I made for the languages. Both have the same end goal, which is to be conversationally fluent. But Mandarin, I'm focusing right now on speech and pronunciation, while with Korean I'm focusing on reading and writing and a little bit of pronunciation. But once my Mandarin has improved significantly, I'll switch it up where I learn Mandarin writing and Korean pronunciation and speech. This difference in language learning helps me avoid any confusion early on that might usually hinder my progress, and will help me recognize similarities in the long run that help with my learning curve. Also, a bonus point, even if you know two languages that are completely different, they have no relevancy whatsoever, you are bound to get them mixed up. So don't be discouraged when that happens to you during your language learning. Hey, don't worry about what you or others might think or say about learning a language. Oftentimes, though, other people are more likely to see improvement in you than you see in yourself. You can do it. 加油, 加油. Subscribe for more language learning advice and activities, and share this video with other language learners that you know of. I want to encourage as many language learners out there. Bye!